Welcome to The Explainer. Listen, if you've ever felt like building meaningful relationships as an adult requires some kind of, I don't know, secret code that you were just never given, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're looking at the architecture of instant connection. Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to break down some incredibly tactical, real-world strategies for mastering real-life friendships. We are moving completely away from all that abstract advice, and we're focusing directly on what actually works right now in the room when you're literally standing in front of another human being. Now, our source material opens up with this super provocative statement, quote, "Making friends in real life is not that hard." I mean, just let that sink in for a second, right? Because we hear so much about the loneliness epidemic and how it's basically impossible to meet people once you're out of school or work. But this immediately shatters that myth. Honestly, it's such a huge relief. The whole adult friendship struggle absolutely doesn't have to be your reality. It's really not this impossible mountain to climb as long as you've got the right architecture in place. So, Section 1, ditch the digital apps. If you're feeling that social isolation fatigue right now, you definitely aren't alone. But the solution? Yeah, it's not going to be found by staring even deeper into our phones. Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast in approach. Over on the left, we've got your typical modern go-to tools, right? Dating apps, unhelpful meetup websites. And let's be real, these platforms almost always just lead to passive burnout. You sit there, swiping away, basically hoping an algorithm eventually decides to work in your favor. No way. But on the right side, we've got the real antidote, actionable social strategies. This is the empowering reality that we're really focusing on today. We're moving away from just hoping for a connection to actively creating one out there in the real world.
Moving on to Section 2, skip awkward politeness. We all know that standard, super rigid script when meeting someone new, right? Well, the source suggests we completely bypass all of that.
Let's break down exactly how this maneuver actually sounds in practice. Normally, step 1, when you meet someone, maybe you're at one of those painfully awkward networking mixers, you probably say something totally stiff like, "Hello, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. What do you do for a living?" Very formal, very cautious. But step 2 is the crucial maneuver. You've got to act like close friends right from the jump. Instead of that rigid greeting, you just walk up with total warmth and go, "Hey, so good to see you. Grab a seat. What's been going on?" See the difference? You immediately disarm them. By skipping that weird, awkward, polite stage entirely, you're basically signaling to their brain that you are a safe, familiar presence. You are literally fast-tracking the entire relationship. Okay, Section 3, master the ISO play. So that first strategy is absolutely perfect for one-on-one intros. But let's see how this builds. What happens when you walk into, say, a super crowded party or just a really overwhelming group event? I want you to think of this next concept kind of like a highly learnable sports maneuver. We call it the ISO play. The definition here is absolutely key. It's pulling a quiet person aside in a group setting to make them feel special. It's this deliberate, actionable play that literally anyone can pull off. Because think about it, in every single group, there's always that one person kind of hovering on the edges, right? Someone who's a bit quieter, maybe feeling just a little out of place. Executing the ISO play means you actively spot that person, you gently pull them out of that overwhelming group dynamic, and you just focus your attention entirely on them. You're forging a genuine bond by basically giving them a safe harbor in a really crowded room. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. When you scan a room, the vast majority of the space, I mean that massive 90% slice of the dynamic, it's totally dominated by loud group dynamics. It's noisy, people are constantly competing for attention, and honestly, it's incredibly hard to make a real deep connection in all that chaos. But your goal is to isolate that small secondary 10% sliver, the quiet person. You literally just step away from all the loud noise, you bring that quiet person into their own little micro-narrative with you, and by doing that, boom, you instantly make them feel special, and more importantly, you make them feel seen. Which brings us to Section 4, real-world instant connection. Ultimately, you guys, making friends just isn't about being perfectly charming or getting lucky. It's really about deploying these active, learnable skill sets to build a totally intentional architecture of connection. So I want to leave you with a really direct challenge today. Who are you going to treat like a close friend today? Seriously, you've got the tactical playbook now. You know for a fact that making friends in real life isn't actually that hard once you stop relying on screens and start acting with some warm, deliberate intention. So take this new social superpower of yours out into the real world right now. Go find someone, skip all those awkward formalities, and go build that instant connection.